Hey, what's up guys? Chase with iDub Hockey, hanging out with JD, brand manager for Bauer Hockey, here in New Hampshire, checking out your new line of Supreme skates. Before we start talking tech and spec, how would you describe the fit profile of the skate, and has it changed from previous Supreme lasts in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're pretty fortunate at Bauer to be able to have three very unique families in terms of fit. So basically a low, medium, and high kind of profile within our skate line. And Supreme in general fits what we call a midfoot profile. So if you look at kind of your ankle wrap, your heel depth, your instep, as well as your forefoot. It's kind of the middle ground in between a vapor skate, which is considered a low profile, and Nexus, which is a higher profile. So it's our middle ground. And I think, we've been fortunate enough over the last 12 to 18 months to understand the consumer base out there. And roughly around 50% of consumers are fit within this midfoot profile. So it's quickly becoming our most popular fit. Some of the key changes in terms of the way the skate fits is we've actually added roughly around 3 millimeters of additional wrap in the forefoot, midfoot area. So in a lot of cases, the consumer or the player is going to feel the same great anatomical fit inside of the skate. It's going to sit nice and close to the foot, but it's going to have a little bit more wrap than the previous 1S version.
Let's hop into some specs here. Yeah. We see a big change in the boot material. What do we find there?
Okay, so we've been working with our partnership with Propex on a new curve material. So it's a carbon curve material that we're using, and basically when we were working with them, we're always looking to make our skates a little bit more lightweight year over year. So the focus was on lightweight. But a combination of the interior foams as well as the outside shell material, that carbon curve composite, makes the skate a little bit more thermoformable. So essentially what we've been trying to do is kind of make the skate very customizable out of the box and through the thermoforming process. And it's been greatly enhanced with the introduction of carbon curve.
So taking that anatomical fit really to the next level, even though that's what Supreme was already known for.
Exactly. And I think, again, when a consumer steps in, they're going to feel a lot of comfort in the skate as well.
For sure. I can attest to that, breaking them in out here.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about your tongue. It looks like something similar that we've seen on the 1X, but it sounds like you made some changes to it specifically for the Supreme line.
Yeah, so we've tried to take that thermoformability and build it into a 360-degree thermoformable fit. So over the last couple of years, we've been focused on the top of the foot and giving that really personalized fit. Basically, we've taken a very similar construction to the Vapor 1X. From an insert standpoint, which is going to deliver that really personalized or that custom fit on the top. The big difference here is we've added some additional inserts that go in through the composite materials in the middle here. And basically what we're trying to do here is maintain the same feel or function of a Supreme skate in the past. So it's got a lot of spring to it. It's very, very reactive. So the consumer is going to notice a lot of power in his step.
And as far as protection goes, how does that compare to a traditional felt tongue?
Yeah, so protection, obviously, driving off a lot of insights from NHL athletes is a key concern. So it's roughly around 15% more protective than the previous 1S tongue that we used in the past. So
awesome. Let's talk about steel. Big change here this year. Obviously, it looks pretty cool, but what's the performance features of this new LS5?
Yeah, so this is the biggest change that a player is going to feel when they step out on the ice. Obviously, you're going to feel the enhanced custom fit in store after you go through the thermoforming process. But the steel, the LS5 carbon steel that we're bringing out, it's a softer core material with a carbon coating on the outside. So basically what we've been able to work out is that softer inner core material makes it easier to get a nice clean sharp edge on it. And then the outer carbon coating actually makes the edges a little bit more solid and protects it. So in terms of when you first step out on the ice, you're really going to feel that the steel grips the ice really well. So if you're doing a lot of edging and a lot of kind of agility motions, it's really going to kind of grip into the ice and really allow you to do those motions really well. With that being said, there is a little bit of a break-in period, I would say, or a little bit of a tinkering kind of process. So, working with the best athletes across the globe, what we found is we've actually reduced the amount of hollow or we've reduced the amount, or we've had to work with them on reducing the amount of hollow that's in the skate, just to give them that similar feel. And when you do that, you actually get a better glide out of your skate. So it's a very unique composition with it, but it really enhances the glide component of the player without sacrificing the grip. So it's been extremely well received at the NHL level, and we're very excited about bringing it to all consumers moving forward.
So it's adding more bite because of that outer coating, which allows you to reduce the hollow, and then you get better glide too.
Correct, and we've done some tests in store, in our lab in Blainville, and it's roughly around 60% sharper using the exact same hollow. So again, when you first jump out there, if you're using the exact same hollow, you're going to feel that bite really grip into the ice.
Yeah, I almost ate it coming out here for the first time. So let's talk about your lacing system too. Looks like we see some new changes, kind of an update from what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, so the Reflex Pro facing system, a couple different things, just from a construction standpoint, a little bit more flexible, allowing the player to get into that deep knee bend and execute the motion. But I think the biggest thing here is, again, drafting off a lot of elite level kind of insights. There's a lot of different lacing systems or ways that people are lacing skates nowadays. So we've added some additional lace holes that can be used or not be used. So if you don't want to do your skates all the way to the top eyelet, you've got some additional options. If you want it to fit a little bit tighter in certain spots, you can do that. So again, we're trying to give as much kind of customability out of the skate, out of the box, and allow players to try different and more unique things, and giving more options is one of the key features.
And same thing, that ties in the same idea with your tendon guard
Yeah,
too,
absolutely.
Right?
So this is a carryover. So we introduced this in 2016 with the 1S, but you have a tendon guard that is customizable from a flex standpoint. Simply either remove the insert to give you even more flexibility, or keep the mid flex as well to keep it kind of a little bit more stiffer. So again, that's one of the big things is, players have the opportunity to really customize this skate out of the box.
So we've talked about the sides being customizable, the top of the foot being customizable, your tendon guard being customizable. What about the bottom of the foot?
Absolutely. So introduction of the new SpeedPlate 2.0. So we're very excited about this, drafting off the success off the very first generation. I think keeps all that same thermoformable capabilities underneath the foot. So that's really helping us complete that 360-degree thermoformable fit. The big changes here is, number one is durability. So we really worked on a new way of manufacturing the SpeedPlate to really enhance the durability. You also notice that it's a little bit more of a softer component than the first generation, and there's more comfort built in. So we really focus on durability and adding a little bit more comfort to underneath the foot to exemplify the properties of the thermoforming and the qualities that it provides. So the other feature too is on the kind of the forefoot area, there's a different support mechanism. So it's different density foams in that top area. And again, we were working with some world-class podiatrists on the skating stride and just looking at how the foot reacts during the skating stride. Basically, we've added more support there, so it's going to help with some of your energy transfer. We estimate that the energy transfer is approximately 20% greater with the SpeedPlate 2.0. So if you're really into that ultimate performance, definitely SpeedPlate 2.0 is going to definitely help you kind of get to that next level.
And those are still compatible through all the Bauer skates, correct?
100%. They're designed and developed for Bauer skates, and they work on each and every price point.
Well, speaking of price points, let's talk about your 2S a little bit here. Yeah. Looks like a full pro spec skate, just add a little bit more generous of a price point. What's kind of the idea behind this price point, and hit on a couple key specs for me?
Absolutely. You pretty much hit the nail on the head in terms of the 2S. It's really about providing the best value within our line. So if you look at a lot of the technologies that we might have used in previous generation high-end top pro level skates, we basically drafted that into the 2S. So it's got a traditional curved composite, which is again a very thermoformable, lightweight material that we've used in the past. It's going to deliver that custom fit. We're using a 48-ounce Pro Stock felt tongue. You look inside of the liner, it's got the lock fit liner, which has some grip materials, and LS3 steel. So in a lot of cases, these are the top materials that we've been using, for several years, and it's about giving the best value within our line. We know that, not everybody can always purchase that top-end skate, so, this is a great second option down the road.
So let's head on over to the S29, finish this up here. Visually, another aesthetically very pleasing skate, but looks like it's jam-packed full of features this year too. Can you touch on a couple for this?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's where you're going to get into a jump into a skate that's got a little bit more flex built into it. So when we look at flex, we look at three different regions. It's the forward flex, which we call the boot flex, the lateral stiffness, as well as the torsional stiffness. So again, younger consumers or a kind of intermediate style player, they're going to need their product to flex a little bit more. So the materials that we selected here was about building the best kind of performance for that skating attribute. So here we're using a fiber composite quarter material. Still got really good thermoformable materials, just not as stiff and rigid as a curved composite boot, which you'd find in the higher price points. We still use an LS1 steel, which is a mid-grade steel with a high polish finish, which is going to really reduce the amount of friction that it's on the ice and still a very good bite for the player. We use a TPU outsole versus a composite. Again, looking for players to have a little bit more kind of flexibility in their torsion side of things. That delivers on that. So for us, everything in the price points kind of down below is about engineering a skate to have specific performance characteristics, and flex is one of the big things here.
Because that intermediate level player might hurt their stride and the development of their stride using a 2S Pro of some sort, right?
Correct, and working with some of the best skating instructors across the globe, they really focus on kind of your ankle to knee flexion, getting into approximately a 45-degree angle. So you think about a player that is 80 pounds and a player that's 200 pounds, their needs from a flex standpoint and how their skate reacts on ice are very, very different. So we take it to a very granular level to make sure that we have price points that allow you to perform your very best, maintain that same great fit, the same great performance as a high-end skate, just allowing you to execute your skating stride to the ability that you have.
Well, JD, thanks for having us out here, filling us in. And then for you guys at home that want to check out more of these Supreme skates, make sure you go to icewarehouse.com.